Welcome to AlphaCars and Ural of New England. Today we're taking a look at this new 2024 Ural Gear Up in Ranger Green, and this has been fitted with some of the Expedition accessories. So you may have seen some of our other videos on the Expedition bikes having the same nice looking logo here. So this bike has been fitted with most of those accessories, which we will go over in this video. So if you want an Expedition style bike with a color like this, well then this bike is for you. I really like this Ranger Green, this kind of flat green. I think it complements the bike and all of those nice black accessories very nicely. So if you're new to the channel, welcome to AlphaCars. We share daily motoring content on exciting things like this Ural. But now, let's learn more about this Gear Up. First, let's talk about what a Ural Gear Up is. So this is of course a sidecar motorcycle, and it has a sidecar right from the factory. It's engineered to have the sidecar with the front suspension design and the geometry of the bike. It would actually be unsafe to remove the sidecar and try to ride the Gear Up just as a two-wheeled motorcycle. So we can see all the heavy-duty adjustable joints here for the sidecar, as these do get a certain alignment using these adjustable, like I said, just very heavy duty joints. It's a very stiff chassis as well. And it's powered by a flat 2. So it's a boxer engine, horizontally opposed 2-cylinder, whatever you may want to call it. And this does have the factory powder coating. So what that means is all the engine components are powder coated individually and then assembled. That's why we can actually see all of the gasket material. You can see the full gasket color. This isn't partially assembled and then powder coated. All the parts are done individually and then assembled to really protect it against corrosion and give it that awesome kind of gloss black look. More on this engine, I may have mentioned it's 750cc, and it actually has its own engine oil, and the gearbox has its own gearbox oil. It is separated like your car, and it has a dry clutch like your car. So it actually has a pretty light pull, and it's a twin disc dry clutch. So these engines make a lot of torque, and that's really what you want there with the twin disc clutch, is you get a lot of clamping force but still have a light lever pull. And especially if you have these a passenger in one and you're loaded up with cargo, of course it's going to be more strain on the clutch. So that's why they really overbuilt these with those twin disc dry clutches. And they do have two-wheel drive. So check this out. One of the changes for 2023, actually, a year or so ago, was the CV shaft. So these used to be U-joints, and now with the CV shaft, there's almost no maintenance you have to really do on them other than inspecting the boots, and you get a smoother ride, among other things. Ural, on their website, they have a breakdown of all the improvements, I believe starting in the 23 model year, when they made a lot of nice improvements. So definitely check that out if you're interested. And we can see this lever here. This is what gets actuated to put it in two-wheel drive. And this is the hand lever you use. So what that does is lock the final drive here. And then you've got a locked differential, and the two-wheel drive works amazing on these bikes. And it is all shaft drive. Let me get a good angle here. We can see that shaft drive there from the gearbox right to the final drive. It's a very satisfying bike to ride, very mechanical feeling, as there's really no like slop in anything, so to speak, like you might get with a chain. It's just really a pleasure to use there. And even let me comment on, like, check out these welds, even on the exhaust. Like, that's just for an exhaust hanger, and the welds just look very, very nice. So really, Ural does an awesome job with having an attention to detail on these. They're really like a work of art as well, you know, aside from being just a very cool, usable sidecar rig. We have some massive Brembo brakes on it, excuse me there. We can see it's a floating rotor design, and the rotor is drilled. Massive 4-piston caliper on the front there. We have a very nice single piston caliper on the back. Once again, a floating rotor that's also drilled. And the sidecar has its own brake as well. So same thing, floating design, drilled, and a single piston Brembo caliper right there. And we can see the hydraulic line coming off of that because the sidecar actually has its own hydraulic circuit. We can see the brake fluid reservoir here, and then the master cylinder is underneath this nice thick heavy-duty guard. And then there's this really cool trick linkage right here. So it actuates, of course it's adjustable as well to dial it in, but it actuates the rear, the bike's rear master cylinder and the bike's sidecar master cylinder at the same time, therefore braking the rear wheels in an even manner, really inspiring a lot of confidence when you're riding. And these things do really stop. I don't want to say stop on a dime, but the braking power is like amazing on these. It's really quite impressive. And then now, kind of looping back to that gearbox, I should have mentioned this a couple minutes ago, we have a nice heel toe shifter, and it has 4 forward gears and 1 reverse gear. It does have a mechanical reverse gear, and for that you use this small heel toe shifter over here. So if you're in neutral or first gear with the clutch pulled in, you kick down on this and it pops you right into reverse. And like I said, it's a mechanical reverse gear, so you can go as far as you want. Even if you're in some off-road situations, it's just like being in any gear on the bike. You've got all the torque right there. It's not some little electric assist motor or something that's gonna get kind of overloaded. It's just like putting your automobile in reverse. It's really quite awesome. So we've been talking about kind of the specs and general features of the Ural, and let's continue that pattern with talking about the factory options on this bike. I had already mentioned that it has the powder-coated drivetrain. I explained about that. So that's one of the factory options. Another one is the chip guard. So we have this nice durable coating. We can see this textured coating. It's on the whole bottom of the sidecar, and it's applied right from the factory when the material's all new, and it's applied under the paint, of course, before it's painted. So it's on the bottom of the sidecar, the whole inside tub of the sidecar. We will take a closer look in the passenger compartment and in the trunk, but it's in there as well. And it's under all of the fenders. So let's see if the camera will adjust here with the lighting so I can show you. If you see in there that textured surface. So you could think of it as like a bed liner, but it is a bit different. But what that's gonna do is really fight against corrosion starting by preventing the paint from chipping. That's why it's called like a chip guard, because what this does is adds a nice amount of flex in the paint. So then instead of rocks and debris coming up, hitting the paint, and the paint has nowhere to go because it's a hard surface, it just chips off. Well, now it's gonna really fight against the chipping. And then once the paint chips off, as you may be well familiar with, let's say you get a rock chip on your car's hood, immediately, depending on the climate you're in, the rust starts very fast. And what this chip guard does is really prevent the chips from happening in the first place, therefore preventing the corrosion. And we can see it just looks awesome under here. Very, very nice design and high quality components. Let me even mention this factory high mount exhaust. Like, look at the rubber dampeners here. Look how thick the exhaust hanger is. And even look at the welds on the muffler. It's really all a work of art. We can see all stainless steel Allen hardware on the exhaust shields. So just a very, very cool motorcycle. Fun to ride, cool to learn about. And now let's start going over these exciting accessories. So we can see the Expedition kind of logo there, as this is an Expedition style bike, as I mentioned. And let's start out on the sidecar. We've got the heavy duty nose rack. Of course, this is installed in a proper manner. It has these rubber dampeners, so then it won't harm the paint. So no metal on metal, won't harm the paint, and then it has nice stainless steel Allen hardware. We've got the short sidecar windscreen. This one is the tinted one, that kind of smoked black look. And then the apron for it, which is this piece, matches the factory tonneau covers material, which is rolled up very nicely right there. It's kind of like a knee bar. And you can unroll this, and this will cover the whole compartment and fasten to the twist fasteners here. And we have actually a couple full videos on just that tonneau cover, how to use it, and some different kind of tips and tricks on how to store it, just like you see right here. So that'll come up in the video right now for you to click on if you want to learn about that. Keeping with the accessory racks here. We have the heavy duty flat rack on the back. Like, this thing is ridiculous. Like, look how thick of gauge of steel that is. The tubing's very thick, nice welds, nice powder coating on it. Same thing up here. Of course, you have to think within reason of how much stuff you can put on there. But we've seen people with, tons of luggage, of course, tied down in a safe manner. And you can see it shakes the whole bike when I shake this. There's no play in that whatsoever. We have the light protection as well. Very nice powder coated rock protectors there for all 3 lights. So we have this one on the tail light, and then the 2 I just showed you on the side marker lights on the bike. And then also tying in is the Sidecar fender rack. I love this accessory. Really nice place to put just a little bit of luggage, but I think it looks really neat. It also adds protection against your Sidecar fender as well. And then it also, this is the new style, so nothing gets drilled. It uses all existing locations, as we see here. And then it also works, of course, flawlessly in the same mounting locations with the light protectors there. There's a rear bumper, mounts very securely, adds some nice protection to the sidecar tub. Maybe you're off-road or something bumps into you, something along those lines. It'll protect you from denting in the back of the tub there. Now moving to the bike itself, we've got the headlamp rock guard. Very nice Ural touring windscreen. It is adjustable, so you can slide this up and down using these thumb screw adjusters. So you can kind of do it on the fly, especially if you maybe stop. You're going to be off-road, so you stop for a sec and put this all the way down, and then you're going to be back on the road, put in some miles on the highway, and you want to lift it back up for more wind protection. It's really, really sweet, and you can see it mounts right off the handlebar clamp. So there's no additional kind of clamps on your handlebars or rods going here and there. Our customers love these Ural windscreens, and it even has this kind of tinted area. The whole thing is tinted, so it matches the sidecar windscreen very nice, but it also has this kind of tinted black area that fades in, almost like a car windshield. So I really like that as well. We've got nice braced hand guards on here. So these provide a lot of nice cover from wind. It deflects wind off your hands, so especially if it's cold out, keeps your hands a bit warmer. And of course, if you're on the trail and there's some brush or something, it's gonna keep that from whipping you in the hands. And it is braced to the handlebar. So of course the Ural really isn't gonna be dropped or fall over, so to speak. So of course this would help with the bars not bending. That's more of a two-wheeled thing that you would put these on. So then if you do drop the bike off-road, it braces the handlebars, but just an added bonus on the Ural as well. And I forgot to mention on the sidecar, we do have those driving lights, and that's a nice waterproof switch to activate those. They look very nice. Of course, these driving lights are standard on the gear up, but I'll quickly mention what's not standard about these is how they are wired, so how the wiring is run. So we can see the wiring goes into the bumper and travels through the bumper and comes out right here, if I get the camera on it properly there, and then it just goes with the factory harness right into the sidecar, because there's a fuse panel in there that controls those or supplies the power to these. And this does not come this way from the factory. Usually this harness is just kind of zip tied on the outside of this front bumper here. So by drilling this, adding the grommet, you can see the wiring's tucked very nicely behind, and there's protective plastic like shielding on the wiring as well to help against abrasion. So really just such a clean way of mounting the wiring there, or running the wiring. And now off-road situations like that, the wiring's not going to get caught in anything. It's not going to be out in the weather and just naturally weather over time. And I think it just looks really nice, really clean. Just seeing the bike with the lights mounted up there but no wiring, it looks like it came that way from the factory. Of course, the lights came there from the factory, but the wiring did not. That's just an extra step we like to go here at AlphaCars, as we are kind of perfectionists here, and we are enthusiasts as well. So we really like to treat things as if they were maybe our own bike. But we have, getting back to the Ural now, we have the shin guards. Once again, offer some awesome protection against brush on your legs, as well as, you know, cold air, things of that nature. And if we take a peek under the bike, that very nice exhaust, this also has the sump guard. So very thick, heavy duty sump guard, still has some holes in there for cooling, because of course the oil pan has some cooling fins on it. And that adds, once again, just awesome protection. If you were maybe to bottom out on something off-road, it's gonna protect that vital oil pan from being damaged and possibly, of course, causing a leak. So that's just another very nice powder-coated accessory from Ural there. Now let me show you, we've covered the accessories. I believe we have covered all of them. Let's go through the sidecar now, and then I'll show you the controls on the bike and start it up. So now the sidecar, very nice, comfortable seat. It is contoured like your car seat, so it really holds you in there. The rubber floor mat is such a nice touch being in here, and of course it protects the sidecar floor from abrasion and stuff as well, like from people's feet. And there is, if we look in here, plenty of room as well. Not just that, but there is a fuse panel. So that switch there, it does go to nothing right now. It's just an open circuit ready for you to put in your favorite accessory to turn on. And then there is already some wiring there and some fuses, but just a very handy place to put things. Of course, we sell hundreds of accessories for these bikes on our e-store. That'll be linked in the video right now for you to click on. Of course, it'll be in the description. So if you do want to personalize your Ural, we do have many, many more accessories that aren't even on this bike that we sell, including things like a sidecar dashboard. And then, of course, if you do want to do like a heated seat, we have those to offer a service for that. And if you do want to put maybe a phone charger in the dashboard there, you can wire that all into the fuse panel. Makes for a very easy and clean installation. Now let me open up the sidecar trunk. Yes, these do have a trunk. I already have the latch undone, so I can just pull it open for the video, but it is lockable, as we can see there. And if I pull this open, you can see the VIN is in here and the color code, but just very heavy duty seals. Even the latch is just, everything's very heavy duty, really nice to look at. And if we take a peek inside, we can see that once again, that textured coating, it's throughout the whole thing here. And we have the Ural toolkit, and we can see this isn't just a little pouch with a couple screwdrivers like most bikes come with. This is like, you can service almost anything on the bike with that toolkit. It is awesome. And same thing with the owner's manual. You can see it's a very thick owner's manual. They have full service breakdowns in these of exploded views of wiring and parts. So with what your Ural comes with, you can do like almost any service or repair. It's really, really quite awesome. And then we have the two colors of the bike here. We have the green and then the black touch-up paint that comes with the bike. So if you do have a little oopsie, a little scratch, even if it's on like a little accessory like this rock protector, it does come with that black, as I showed you, to be able to touch that up. And of course, prevent corrosion before that happens. Even look at the latch system. Like, look how thick that metal is there. That is just, everything's really kind of overbuilt, and I really like that about these. So now that we have, I think, covered the sidecar pretty extensively there, let's go to the controls on the motorcycle. I'd already mentioned the clutch. It's really like any other motorcycle here. We have the running lights, which are always on, high beam, and then flash to pass. We've got our blinkers, our horn. This is very, very heavy duty, this parking brake. It's all aluminum construction, and it's like so satisfying to use. Really nice piece of kit there. I actually did miss an accessory. We have a USB charger, a dual USB charger, and it has a very nice waterproof or water resistant cap there, nice rubber. I already showed you the switch for the running lights. And then of course we just have the throttle, front brake, our run and kill, and then the starter there. So if I turn on the key, you can see it does a nice little self-check gauge sweep. Actually only 4 miles on this bike, and it is in neutral, so let's just bump the starter and start it right up. So of course, I actually forgot to mention at the beginning of this video when I was talking about the engine, these are fuel injected. So really no matter the elevation you're at, maybe even the fuel quality of what you can get. They are gonna run really good, really all the time. There's no tinkering with the carburetors or pulling a choke here and worrying about even storing it off season. Just put a little fuel stabilizer in the tank and you're good to go once the next riding season starts. No cleaning out carburetors or taking things apart or sinking carburetors. The fuel injection is really nice on these bikes. Of course, we all have our preferences. There are many people who prefer the carbureted bikes, but then you have an equal amount of people who might prefer the fuel injected bikes. So I really like carbureted bikes, but my personal bike that I have right now is fuel injected, and let me tell you, it's awesome to not worry about it, to just hit the starter and be able to ride whenever you want. Of course, maintaining our bikes is fun to wrench on our bikes, but the more riding time we can get and with the less headaches is really better in my opinion. So we saw there, started right up, runs very smooth. Of course, like any modern vehicle, it's going to have a high idle at first to keep the oil pressure up while it warms up and to do with the emissions, and then it'll settle back down once it's warm there. So now let me touch on this little door. I'm sure you've seen this little door here and wondered what that goes to. Well, I already unlocked it. It is lockable, and it's a storage compartment. Really, really sweet. It's got the weather stripping on it to keep most of the moisture out and things. And with the kind of rolled edge, how it goes over that. These aren't technically waterproof, but I really don't see how a whole lot of stuff's going to get in there with how it's constructed, so that's very nice. And you might be wondering how big it is. Well, this is a Galaxy S22 Ultra, a Samsung phone, and we can see it fits in there actually with some room to spare. So plenty of room in there for your modern large telephone, your wallet, your keys. Just a really cool little storage area that's very easy to get to as well, because obviously it's almost like having a tank bag. We have a lot of customers who even use these for maybe items they don't use as much, because then they put a tank bag on top of this, and it's just extra storage, which is always nice on a motorcycle. And like I said, it's lockable as well, which is a bonus. So I think I've covered quite a bit on this Ural Gear Up. I hope you've enjoyed watching this video. We, of course, are a Ural dealer. We always have tons of these in stock, whether they are new or used. If we actually look through our nice showroom glass there's actually a whole lot of other sidecar rigs in there, as well as other two-wheeled motorcycles. So always feel free to check out our website to view our up-to-date inventory, alphacars.com. Give us a call, 978-263-9000. If you are maybe looking for something specific, we can help you out there. And we do have full service capabilities as well. So accessorizing the bikes, servicing them, we can handle all that for you right here at AlphaCars. So this has been Ian reporting from our Boxborough location. I hope you learned something new about this gear up. I hope you've enjoyed watching. Please leave a like on this video and subscribe so then you don't miss out on the latest Ural content.